This question and comment is related to the 34th Avenue open street. This person said there was never sufficient community input for the 34th Avenue open street. There was a quote-unquote show trial community events where you already had the answers you want. What will you do to ensure community input, especially from seniors and the disabled going forward?
I did my last, when I was a council member, I went to Israel with Council Member Greenfield. So we explained the connection. So when I went there, one of the first things that, we were taught from the beginning was, you can may have a question, it doesn't matter what we say, when we leave, you will still will continue having different point of view of what you see when you come here. So the 34th Avenue is one of those. There's always going to be a strong opinion. Some people will say it was not good that you did it. Nationwide being recognized as one of the best role models, where a 1.8 miles that was only used for cars now is used also for pedestrians, for cyclists, for the cultural event that is happening there. Go to Times Square. Today, my daughter's 18. When she will go to Times Square, she will believe, or if you go there with your visitor, your family, your friend that come from overseas, that Times Square has been organized as it is right now. Times Square was only a storage for cars in the 80s. I started Times Square, I didn't say this. So 34th Avenue, again, and that's what I said from the beginning. I can explain to you the purpose of 34th Avenue being reorganized. I know that there's different point of view. I don't pretend to, give you the answer for those who are against it, that you will be happy. All I can say is about our job in the city of New York is to organize, to manage the 25% in our portfolio, and to guarantee different use of our street, not only for cars, but also for people to walk, for bike, to do culture and education.
We have another comment and question related to 34th Avenue. And it says, in Jackson Heights, we love our open street, 34th Avenue, Paseo Park. We are asking the DOT to make improvements to make it safer for pedestrians. Please address the problem of speeding mopeds, e-bikes, and vehicles that cut through. Please redesign Northern or another nearby avenue to create a micro-mobility lane to give safe passage to these vehicles so Paseo Park can be safer for pedestrians again. Thank you.
We will continue having community engagement. We had great leaders in the Queens DOT office, and there's always going to be different ideas, different interpretation, different value that we dedicate to our, our street. We all have to live. We have to live together, understanding that again, it's a limited space, and it's a more density city that we have in the nation. This is what we are. It's a place of 8.6, 64 million visitors. Construction never stopped. It's always truck, car, vehicle. When it came to the mopeds and anyone that use a e-bike on any other motor transportation, we definitely, we working with everyone to help us to educate those who are using any mode from e-bike, a scooter or mopeds, that they should know that everyone must obey the law, that everyone has to look for pedestrians. I will not be popular in what I'm going to be saying, but I can tell you one thing. You never heard the news that a cyclist hit a car and the driver died, or that a pedestrian hit a car and the driver died. So when I get behind the wheel of a vehicle, So when I take the question, as a former teacher that I was, I know how to listen. But whoever wants to be part of this conversation, we get a question. I answer, but I'm not going to be getting them back in the work.
I have a
So-
question. I have a question.
so I-
We just do hand-picked questions there.
That's right.
So today,
Where's the
no, I'm going to be keeping control. That guy being interrupting previous meeting has to be removed
Where's
from this
the
meeting.
question from online? Are
there's
you
an
gonna
order.
do the online questions?
I will answer them. So with the question that is related to the speed, what are we doing on those speed, those who are using mopeds or e-bike or any motor transportation who are speeding? I think I can tell you one thing. As a commissioner, I'm committed not only for drivers to be accountable, but for anyone who uses a bike, an e-bike, a moped or a scooter, they also have to be accountable to protect our pedestrians too, and driver also has to protect the cyclist community.
All right, so we've done a number of the cards, but we're going to turn it over to some of the folks that have submitted when they RSVP'd. So the question, I see a bunch of questions related to broken and missing curbs. So not sure if you want to talk a little bit about the state of good repair. I can take that. So some folks have submitted questions, and I'm more than happy to, you RSVP'd. So Eli has your contact information because you included your addresses, your email addresses. But what I can say is that sidewalks, right, are very important for pedestrians, for school children, for our seniors. And how it works out in the city law is that property owners are responsible for their sidewalks. So some folks, property owner, they might have received a notice of violation from DOT. Just want to say for the record, DOT does not proactively go out canvassing neighborhoods to issue sidewalk violations. We are 311 and complaint driven, meaning that if a property
I will. I don't know. I can't afford. I'm running out my pencils. So I need.
Number of requests related to Roosevelt Avenue. And so I'm going to just turn it over to PD. So there were questions related to congestion, traffic safety, aka enforcement, and lighting. And we can certainly touch on the lighting piece, but please.
Hi everybody. For those of you that weren't here earlier, I'm Officer Lawrence from 115 Precinct Community Affairs. So as far as congestion on Roosevelt Avenue, we all know that it's a very busy avenue with a lot going on, a lot of vehicular traffic, a lot of foot traffic. For the past few years, we were short on some police officers, and things are starting to get a little better for us. Over the past, well, I'm sure most of you may have heard about the 90-day Roosevelt operation. That was in effect from October to January. It's still in effect for the NYPD. Some agencies may have kind of focused on other things at this point, but we still are. We have more cops out there on foot, more cops than we've had in about 8 or 9 years. So traffic is getting enforced. We have, there's also New York City TLC enforcement out there as well. They're addressing traffic conditions, making sure the taxis are doing the right things, because a lot of times that is what causes traffic, double parking, picking up pedestrians, things along those lines. Another topic that was brought up was street sound system enforcement. As far as those cars that driving down the block and you could almost feel them shaking your house or your apartment building, they do get enforced. Not as much as we would like. Unfortunately, they see us way before we hear their radio, so they turn it down before we could even hear it. So yeah, that's all I have on that. But any other questions that come up throughout the night, any other topics, I'd be more than happy to discuss.
Thank you.
That there were a number of questions related to the lighting. under the elevated. So we've been working on it, and just so you know, NYPD is part of that 90-day effort designated by the mayor. We've been working very closely with NYPD. They have identified some particular locations, so we're doing some studies. But I do know that there is a capital project to install some more lighting. It's from Seaver Way 126 all the way to, I think, 114th, if I'm not mistaken. And then in the 70s, we're actually going to be adding some additional pedestrian arms. And this is something that has been requested by Catalina Cruz, the council member, and I think Assemblymember Rava on the other side. So, so just know you can always contact my office about street lighting, and we're always open to sending out our engineers to seeing what we can do to